But they beat us by a whisker. They beat us just by a little whisker. He beat us from the basement.
That was Donald Trump in Mint Hill, North Carolina, once again admitting that he lost the 2020 election to President Joe Biden. In this speech today, Donald Trump made misstep after misstep after misstep, and Donald Trump has become increasingly panicked in recent days after polls showing him slipping in the state of North Carolina, once believed to be an easy win for him, especially after news of the scandal of Mark Robinson dropped last week. And this is after numerous other scandals regarding Robinson, who is Trump's handpicked candidate for the North Carolina gubernatorial race. Donald Trump likes to say that when he says that President Biden actually beat him, that he was being sarcastic. Do you remember at the debate just a couple of weeks ago against Kamala Harris, where Trump pretended that he never said that he lost by a whisker and then pretended that he was being sarcastic? Watch this.
To focus truth in these times that we're living in. Mr. President, for 3.5 years after you lost the 2020 election, you repeatedly falsely claimed that you won, many times saying you won in a landslide. In the past couple of weeks leading up to this debate, you have said, quote, you lost by a whisker, that you, quote, didn't quite make it, that you came up a little bit short.
I said that?
Are you now acknowledging that you lost in 2020?
No, I don't acknowledge that at all.
But
I said that sarcastically. You know that. It was said, oh, we lost by a whisker. That was said sarcastically.
Then Donald Trump's new thing is to say that anything good happening to the economy right now is because the economy is actually bad. So inflation is coming down. That's because the economy is bad, he says. And he says the reason we got an interest rate cut from the Fed is because the economy is doing bad. Watch this.
You know, there is a reason for the interest rate cut from the Fed. Big part of that reason is that our economy is doing really, really badly.
Donald Trump is running out of things to say now that the economy is roaring and is doing really great. We certainly have plenty of work to do, but with interest rates coming down, inflation falling, and the U.S. being a world leader in GDP growth and other factors, Donald Trump is trying to now divert attention to other random issues. For example, he's become so incredibly fixated on Kamala Harris working at a McDonald's when she was younger, and he tries to act like she lied about working at McDonald's because she did not put her McDonald's experience on her resume to become a prosecutor. He is obsessed with this. He brings it up at every rally. He posts about it all the time. He even brought it up in North Carolina. Watch.
Even something like she worked very long and hard hours over French fries at McDonald's. She'd never worked at McDonald's. It was a fake story. It was a fake story. The press now refuses to write it because it's so, you know, there's a very simple one. She said she worked at McDonald's and she didn't. Not highly sophisticated, not complicated. It was a lie. She never worked at McDonald's over the hot French fries. I think I'm going to a McDonald's in 2 weeks, actually, and I'm going to work the French fries because I will have worked longer and harder at McDonald's than she did if I do that.
Then he went on a tangent about Apple needing to break into foreign applications and said that they broke into the apps of the J6 hostages, who he supports at every turn. Watch this.
Their political opponent, but they must get Apple to open these foreign apps, and they must get Apple to likewise open the 6 phones from the second lunatic, who's a lunatic, and open them immediately because we have a lot at stake. Whether it's me or any other former president, they break into apps all the time. They had no problem breaking into the apps of the J6 hostages. They broke into those apps. And they could be Iran-based. They could also be something else. But we'll never know until they're opened, and they got to get them opened. And really, why is it that the father of the shooter in the Butler instance has one of the best and most expensive lawyers in the entire state of Pennsylvania? How did he get to this expensive lawyer, big law firm, the biggest in Pittsburgh? Where did he get this big law firm from? It's sort of strange.
And Donald Trump's campaign now has just been speaking about assassination attempts on his life. He fundraises and grifts off this nonstop. It seems like it's really kind of one of the only things he speaks about. So here he's saying that possibly Iran was behind the assassination attempt and foreign-based apps. I mean, watch this clip.
As you know, there have been 2 assassination attempts on my life that we know of, and they may or may not involve, but possibly do, Iran. But I don't really know, can't be sure, because in the first case in Butler, Pennsylvania, great place, and we're going back to Butler, by the way. We're going to go back and finish our speech. The FBI has been unable to open the 3 potentially foreign-based apps. And in the second case, the assassin had 6 cell phones in his car, yet the FBI has likewise been unable to penetrate their guard. Shouldn't be tough to do. They want to know, and I want to know, and the whole country and maybe the world wants to know, who is he calling? Who is he calling? In the old days, the FBI and the DOJ used to capture people before anything happened. In current days, the upper echelon of the FBI is all talk while they focus on the sitting president's political opponents. That's what they're doing. They spend so much time. We won the case in Florida. It's all a big scam. It's all against a political opponent, me, who's doing better in the polls than anybody else, and should be hopefully able to recapture the presidency in 41 days and make our country great again. But all they focus on is their political opponent.
Then Donald Trump said that if he were president, that he would inform Iran or any countries threatening any of our former leaders that he will blow their largest cities and the country itself to smithereens. This is the kind of rhetoric and the kinds of things that Donald Trump actually did when he was president that led to much of the chaos that we are seeing in the Middle East, like when Donald Trump pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal. Watch this clip.
But if I were the president, I would inform the threatening country, in this case Iran, that if you do anything to harm this person, we are going to blow your largest cities and the country itself to smithereens. We're going to blow it to smithereens. You can't do that. And there would be no more threats.
Donald Trump continues to spread these lies that have already been backfiring him all over the country, making up lies about immigrant communities in various towns like Springfield, Ohio, and Aurora, Colorado. Here's Donald Trump continuing to lie about this here.
But Kamala should have closed the border years ago, and we wouldn't have hostile takeovers of Springfield, Ohio, Aurora, Colorado, where they're actually going in with massive machine gun type equipment. They're going in with guns that are beyond even military scope, and they're taking over apartment buildings. They're taking over real estate. They're in the real estate development business. Congratulations. These are, in that case, people from Venezuela, young street gang members that were sent here by the Venezuelan government.
And Donald Trump has been ramping up his attacks on President Zelensky in Ukraine over the past few days. He is particularly mad that when Zelensky came to America to visit the UN, that one of his first meetings was with Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania. Donald Trump was incredibly jealous by this and angered by this. And so now he has ramped up his rhetoric and his attacks on Ukraine and his support of Vladimir Putin. Trump, speaking about the deaths in Ukraine, blamed Vice President Harris and President Biden because they helped Ukraine. Watch this.
Includes many Russian soldiers are dead. A deal could have been made. There wouldn't have been one person that died, and there wouldn't have been one golden tower laying shattered on its side. A deal could have been made if we had a competent president instead of a president that egged it all on. And Biden and Kamala allowed this to happen by feeding Zelensky money and munitions like no country has ever seen before. Every time he came to our country, he'd walk away with $60 billion. He's probably the greatest salesman on earth. But now Ukraine is running out of soldiers.
Donald Trump's plan, of course, as even said by J.D. Vance today, is basically to put anything on the table to allow Russia to completely take over Ukraine in order to end the war that is happening there. He wants to cut off the funds to Ukraine and let Russia take over. Make no mistake about it. Here, Donald Trump is speaking about migrants again, once again, trying to fearmonger about migrants in American communities. Watch this.
Most people don't even know there are that many countries. Actually, there are quite a bit more than that. 168 countries were represented with illegal aliens coming in from the Congo in Africa. They come in a lot from the Congo, from jails in the Congo. They open their jails from South America, Venezuela, all of the countries. They're letting them out of their prisons and jails. They're letting them out. Their jail population's way down. Their mental institution population. But this is all over the world. They come from the Middle East. They come from Asia. They come from parts of Europe. They come into our country. Many of them are major criminals, murderers.
And here's Donald Trump continuing his xenophobic rhetoric about migrants, saying they are, quote, literally taking over towns and hundreds of towns of cities. This is one of the big pushes by him and Fox to spread this myth that there is a immigrant invasion, a migrant invasion in the country. And by the way, a lot of the migrants that he is speaking about are legal immigrants who he wants to deport. Nobody is safe under a Donald Trump presidency. Remember that. Watch this.
The 21 million illegals she let in are now creating havoc throughout the country. Aurora, Colorado, and Springfield, Ohio are just two examples. What they're going through in those places, it's unbelievable. I mean, they're literally taking over those towns. They're taking over hundreds, those are 2 years, hundreds of towns and cities throughout our country, including the big ones. Look at New York. All of the people, what's happened to the quality of life. The quality of life is a whole different deal.
And this was the moment even Fox got bored while watching Donald Trump ramble about the same old garbage. They cut coverage while Donald Trump was still talking. Watch this.
All right, well, we're going to continue to watch this. We carried this economic speech in its entirety for almost an hour and a half yesterday. We're told that the rest of this speech will very much echo what we heard yesterday. But we
continuing on the pro-Trump propaganda network RSBN, Trump basically was talking about bribing politicians with campaign contributions in the past. Watch this.
So she had 15 different policies that she's changed. And over the years, I've been into politics, but mostly on the other side, like writing checks for politicians. Campaign contributions, extremely legal, but I've been on the other side, campaign contributions. And I've seen on occasion a politician make one change in policy, maybe two. She's made 15.
And as Trump makes these missteps, he continues to play right into the hands of the Harris campaign, who is noting that Donald Trump is not speaking about the issues that matter to the American people. Instead, he's focused on these lies about migrants eating cats and dogs. He's focused on Kamala Harris's job at McDonald's from many years ago. Here's a brilliant new ad, an absolutely brutal ad from Vice President Harris' campaign that hits Donald Trump for just that.
Eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets. This is what's happening in our country.
While Trump is focused on that, Kamala Harris is focused on you.
It is important that we move forward and address the needs of the American people, address the housing shortage, support our small businesses, address bringing down the price of groceries. And I pledge to you that I will.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
So with fewer than about 42 or so days until Election Day, that is the kind of stuff that Donald Trump is focused on, and that is the kind of stuff that Vice President Kamala Harris is focused on. I think the difference could not be clearer, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to continue to spread these videos, share them far and wide, hit that subscribe button. We are quickly on the way to 3.5 million subscribers. I see the numbers every day go up by the thousands thanks to you. Remember to hit the like button and leave a comment. Let me know if you like this report. Remember to subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast anywhere you get audio podcasts. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.